Alright, so this is obviously the first recording I'm doing for Rod's Reviews. We are going to review Halloween Ends today. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, bear with me a little bit. It's been a minute since I've seen the movie. I'm going to be giving my thoughts, opinions. We're going to do a quick recap of it. I don't want to dwell on it too much. I feel like a lot of you, if you're watching this, you've probably already seen the movie, so you kind of know where I'm going to go with this. So, the movie picks up where Halloween Kills ends. And if you know, in the newer trilogy they've done starting in 2018, Halloween and Halloween Kills from 2018 and I believe 2021, one of them two, I believe, it pretty much was one night that Michael was going around terrorizing, completely wrecking shit, pretty much in a sense. Of course, my dog decides to start eating. You know how it is if you have a dog. Anyways, those two movies pretty much take place on one night. So I'm curious to know where Halloween Ends picks up. Well, we get the answer in the first few minutes of the movie. Halloween Ends picks up literally a couple years after Halloween Kills. So a year after the events of Halloween Kills, where Michael comes back, wrecks everybody, he kills Laurie's daughter, all that good stuff. Pretty much, in a nutshell, Haddonfield has gone crazy. They think anything death-related, killing-related, anything odd is all Michael Myers. Which, I mean, they have all the right to believe that. I would believe the same thing. So, fast forward, we meet this guy, Corey Cunningham. And at the beginning, if you've seen the movie, you're kind of like, I don't know where they're going to go with this. I don't know what they're doing with this guy. I don't know what the plans are. But in my opinion, it's a really odd thing they're doing. So Corey's this nice guy, babysitting the kid, whatever. We go on, and the kid starts to be a little bit of a shithead. You know, a little bit of a shithead. He's like, oh, Michael's gonna kill you. You know, a little bit of an asshole, bro. A little bit of an asshole, no cap. So we go so they start progressing. Corey's putting him to bed, all that good stuff. He's like, hey, man, you need to go to bed. It's time for bed. And the kid starts to be more of an asshole. Okay. Whatever. And he starts pranking Corey. The door randomly opens up. The knife that Corey was using to cut up whatever bread he was about to eat is mysteriously gone now. Corey's calling for him. And all of a sudden, the kid yelling out, help me, please help me, Corey. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So he goes upstairs, and he somehow gets locked in the attic. I believe that's the attic cellar, whatever kind of dark room. Gets locked in there. And the kid is pranking him, screwing with them. Like you know, it's not funny anymore at this point. You know, it's just serious. And Corey's kicking the door, he's hitting the door, pushing it, hitting it as hard as he can. And his parents are pulling up. You see to a cutscene where the parents are pulling up back to the house. Well, the kid's kicking it. Corey's in the room kicking and punching the door as hard as he can, just hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. Well, all of a sudden, the door flies open, hits the kid in the face, and the kid falls 3 stories to the ground and breaks his neck. Mind you, this was the first 5 minutes of the movie. The first 5 minutes of the movie. Well, probably like 10 minutes. The first few minutes of the movie, this all happened. So, the movie progresses. Corey is now known as the Kid Killer around Haddonfield. He's being teased, picked on, all kinds of things. He's being known as this awful person, this just evil person. And Corey knows that he's not like that. Well, these kids are screwing with him once again. Well, they end up bullying him, they push him over, all these good things, and he meets Laurie Strode, who is actually doing pretty well. She's recovering from her daughter's death. Her and her granddaughter Allison are living together. Laurie's living pretty well. Allison's living pretty well. Everyone's okay. But Laurie meets Corey at this place, and they slit those kids' tires. Fair enough. Kids are assholes. Fair enough. So as we progress through the movie, you know, you kind of see Corey go through those few little stages and things like that. He meets Allison. He knows about Laurie and all those things. And, you know, you kind of see a love connection, a love story being put in place here. And I know a lot of people were not fond of that. And I'm going to give my opinion on that here in a little bit. And just bear with me for a minute. And as the movie's progressing, Corey is just going through all his stuff, and he ends up, you know, downtown. Actually, no, I skipped the part. My bad. Corey and Allison go to this Halloween party. And, of course, Corey sees the mother of the kid that he accidentally pushed over the edge in the house from that prior at the beginning. And the mom is angry, you know, as she should be. And she's saying Corey's his killer. He did it on purpose and things like that. And so Corey leaves the party. He's really mad, and he runs into these same 4 kids that were bullying him previously, and they end up bullying him, pushing him back because obviously they knew that he was the one who slit their tires, pretty much. Him and Lori. So one of the pretty much the main one, the big bully, pushed him over the edge because it's on like this overpass, and he pushed Corey over, and Corey just falls, hits the ground hard as hell, and it's just like, damn, all right. And they think, dude, did we just kill this guy? So the kids leave, and you see Corey being drugged into a sewer. And Corey wakes up, and he's looking around, and all of a sudden a hand grabs him, and it's Michael. And Corey's freaking out. He doesn't know what to do, and he leaves. But also at the same time, Corey's like, why didn't he kill me? Why did he leave me alive? And I think that was a real detrimental part in the movie to me, because at this point I'm thinking, okay, I think I know what they're about to do, and I hope they do it. And we're going to get to that in a minute. And, and as Michael and Corey connected, you kind of seen the camera, well, not the camera, like, they kind of do flashbacks. Like, Michael and Corey have some connection. They make eye-to-eye contact. And you kind of don't really know what it is, but you see some real connection between him and Michael. So Corey runs away, thinks nothing else of it. Well, the movie keeps progressing, and Corey is starting to slowly get into this dark mental state. He's still having his love story with Allison, and that's a great thing, but he's starting to develop a dark side. And I think Lori really honed in on it very quickly, because she said what he's doing is very similar to what Michael did to her back in the previous Halloween movies. And it really irritates me how the movie ended because of how they built it up. So the movie keeps going. It's not bad. It's just, it's starting to slow down at this point. Nothing's really happening. Corey and Allison go to hang out at this restaurant, and Allison's ex, who happens to be a cop, is coming up, messing with her, talking to her, and Corey kind of snaps a little bit, and he's like, hey, she don't want to talk to you, leave her alone. They get to like a face-to-face, man-to-man kind of thing, and the cop starts following Corey home. Corey notices this, so Corey takes off, goes back to the same sewer that he first got dragged into, lured him to Michael, and Corey held him down while Michael killed him. And I believe this point is where Corey wants Michael to teach him. So I'm seeing as a passing of the torch. I'm seeing this as a passing of the torch. I'm seeing as Michael's going to take a step back, Corey's going to be the new face of evil kind of thing. And in my opinion, I was for it. I was all for that, and it seemed like a great idea, because I'm thinking, okay, well, Michael is going to be gone for some odd reason. We're not at the end of the movie yet, but Michael's going to be gone for some odd reason, so we're going to make Michael Myers bigger than just the person. It's going to be a face, because everyone knows the mask, but they don't know the person under the mask. So we're just going to make him a big figure in a huge thing that's going to scare the shit out of everybody. If you've seen the movie, that didn't happen. So, well, we keep going, and sorry, I'm really trying to rethink about everything that really happened in the movie. I probably should have recorded this as soon as I got done finished watching it, honestly. So we're just gonna skip to the end, because at this point, actually, I don't want to skip to the end because there's a big part in this. Corey decides he wants to run away with Allison. He decides, I'm done, I want to get away from all this. So he goes back to the same sewer, and he squares up with Michael. And he overpowers Michael, which is very surprising. He overpowers Michael and snatches the mask off him and saying, I'm taking this. And he leaves. And Michael does his little weird sit-up thing and looks back, and I'm like, oh shit, okay, all right. And Michael and Corey puts the mask on. Him and Allison they're gonna get away together. They're not gonna do nothing. And at this point, Lori's already threatened him. She's threatened him, already telling him to stay away from Allison, or else we're gonna have problems, and I'm gonna have to put you down. And Corey's like, all right, bet, cool, we'll see what happens. So what does Corey do? He puts the mask on, and he goes on a killing spree. Some of these kills are gruesome. I mean, he ran over one of the kids. The 4 kids that were bullying him, ran over one of the kids. He put a torch down the other one's mouth. The big bully put a torch down the other one's mouth, burned him. He bashed one of the one's head in, and I think he stabbed one of them through the eye. It was some pretty gruesome kills, and that was some of the entertaining parts of the movie. I actually liked those parts. So at that point, we cut over to Laurie's house. This is the end of the movie, and Laurie is sitting there. You know, Allison's already left. Laurie's in this like depressed state. She calls 911 and she reports a suicide. And at this point, you're thinking, "Oh my God, Laurie's about to off herself." But no, it was all a plot. It was all a trick to get whoever there to see if she was dead or not. Well, you can kind of see someone pushing the door open. This is a cool scene. So you see someone pushing the door open, and all you see is Laurie holding the gun, pointing towards the camera, and she shoots it. And it's obviously Corey in Michael's mask. So he falls down, whatever, and he's on the ground, and they're going back and forth, exchanging words or whatever. And Allison starts pulling back up outside the house. So Corey's like, you know what? Fine. We'll play it like this. And Corey stabs himself in the neck. And I'm like, wait, why? Why would he do that? I mean, I get why he would do it, because he wants to cause Laurie to lose Allison, but at the same time, it's like, why would you do that? You know, like, I don't like how, like, they built this thing up just to kind of drop the ball with it, in a way. I don't know. Anyways, he stabbed himself in the neck. I'm confused as hell at this point. But regardless, Allison comes in and sees. She runs away. Laurie's sad. She sits down. And she goes in the kitchen, sits down. But she looks back and she notices the back door is open. Obviously, we know who came through the back door. Michael came through the back door. So Michael grabs his mask, puts it back on. He goes look for Laurie. And eventually he finds her, but she comes off with the fire extinguisher, I believe, and they're just going back and forth. They're fighting. They're having their big final battle, and it's really interesting because I feel like out of all their fights, this is where Michael looked the weakest. Like, she didn't overpower him. She outsmarted him, but I feel like she did it in such a way to where it made Michael look stupid. Because throughout all these other Halloween movies, Michael's never been dumb. Never once. And I feel like this movie made him look really, really dumb for some reason. And I don't know why they went that route with it. But regardless, she eventually gets him on top of this island looking thing in the kitchen. And she stabs both of his hands down, she pushes the fridge on top of him. And she takes a knife and slits his throat. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, wow, she really killed Michael. Well, Michael snatches his hand off one of the knives and starts choking her. And he starts choking her. And Allison runs back in and breaks the arm and saves her grandmother. And her and Allison take a knife and they slit Michael's wrist. And Michael bleeds out and dies. And I'm kind of sitting here like, that's how Michael Myers dies. Okay. Interesting enough. And I did skip one part because when Michael went back to grab his mask off Corey was still half alive. But Michael snapped his neck and completely killed him, probably because of the shit he pulled back in the sewer. Understandable enough. But, that's pretty much that's the gist of the movie. That's pretty much the gist of the movie, the main parts of the movie that I can remember myself and the main parts that stuck out to me. So, that was the big recap for me. The review for me is, I really thought they were going to make Corey the new face of Fear in a way, and I was really hoping that he would take Michael's place and that Corey and Allison would become the new Michael and Laurie. They would have that odd connection that they hate each other and want to kill each other, and I feel like that could have progressed at least over another movie or two. And I was really hoping they would do that because I thought that'd be cool as hell for Michael to train like his protege, and then his protege kill him and take over. That'd be cool as fuck in my opinion. But I mean, a lot of people didn't like it for solely a A lot of people felt like it was more of a love story, which it was a love story for the most part. They felt like it was more of a love story that just didn't involve Michael Myers much, which I understand that. I feel like the movie lacked a little bit of substance, and when I first finished it, I was like, the movie wasn't that bad. I was already seeing a bunch of people on Facebook dragging it, talking so much shit about it, but in my opinion, it wasn't that bad. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with it. I just feel like they built the plot up so much just to drop the ball with it. That's my personal opinion. They really talked it up so much to the point where it felt like, okay, they're really going to do something with this, and they're going to give a big swerve, and the swerve wasn't even really a swerve, and honestly, Michael went out like a punk, low-key, because if Michael was going to go out, I thought Michael was going to go out and take Laurie with him at the least, but that didn't happen. Laurie had her happy ending. Allison moved away from Haddonfield, and they took Michael and put him up in a grinder and grinded his body up. That's how the movie ends, pretty much. And I feel like to a lot of people who were really looking forward to this movie, it was probably a big letdown. I personally was never a huge fan of the Halloween movies. I'm not a huge scary person. I'm not a huge scary movie fan. I'll watch a few here and there, but I wasn't like a huge fan of it. Overall, this movie was not... A lot of people are saying it was awful. I give this a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 because I thought some of the kills were cool. The overall plot could have been better. It wasn't that bad. A little bit above average of a movie, in my opinion. And that's pretty much it for me. I feel like they a lot of the hardcore fans got let down by this. A lot of people who are casual movie watchers probably didn't really care about it. This is my personal opinion. The movie really wasn't that bad. It could have been a lot better than what it was. If you're going to end a big franchise, like Halloween, if you're going to end it, it needs to go out with a bang, and it didn't go out with a bang. It went off like a bottle rocket, in my opinion, honestly. But yeah, that's the review. Sorry if it seemed a little choppy. I'm sorry if it was all over the place. I watched the movie like 4 days ago. Honestly, I should have recorded it as soon as I finished watching the movie personally, but I dragged my feet so much just to get behind this camera and do this. But the fact that I remembered that much from watching it one time 4 days ago, I guess it was alright. If you guys like this review, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.